Hey guys, it's Ducon Red 1 and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking through the build called New Barrel. It was by Kulmen. I forget his full name, but Kulmen was the one that had built this. I will put his link in, or his name in the description below. And it's a large land, it's a hold. There's several villages and hamlets around, and then there's a castle in the middle and such. And it's not as epic as most of the other builds that I've so far showcased on my Westeroscraft walks, but it is incredible, the detail. I feel like this is a very necessary kind of detail to do because a lot of people, don't think of the things that we're going to be looking through today, and it's going to be hopefully very informative and helpful for some of you. But yeah, we're right now just looking through a monastery or a sept. I forget what this is called, but it's a place where the priests would be, or monks of the faith, and they, basically it goes along the monastic order of the medieval times. Usually, monasteries were pretty rich. The people around were sort of like vassals to the monastic order. They would help organize the wealth of the realm and try to help bring in the coin to help the citizens of the land. Obviously, that also goes to the king or the lord of the land as well. But being the monasteries and the head of the faith and such, they sort of relied on the monasteries or septs in a way, because the septs are any religious order is supposedly known for its giving of coin and helping the poor and such like that, helping those in need. So anyways, let's just start. Okay, before we get into this and before anyone starts biting my head off, I'm going to read a little bit of lore that was provided me from a person on the server. So I did not come up with this lore. I'm not going to read the books. Doesn't interest me. So don't ask me to read the books. But I will read you what I do know about this, about New Barrel, and what this person has said. So anyways, there is really nothing special about New Barrel in particular. Nothing out of the superb ordinary. Like, it's nothing you really see in the movies. And then the books, it's kind of like, maybe you'll hear a little bit about it here and there, a little bit about the people that live there. But it's not really super, publicized, and not many people, everyone knows about it in the land, but you just won't really hear about it much. But anyway, their sigil is a green apple on a gold field, unlike their cousins, the main branch of the house, who have a red apple on a golden field as their sigil. Now, is that Highgarden? I'm not sure. But anyway, New Barrel and the king, or the Lord Fossoway, hails to the Highgarden, the city of Highgarden. I'm really interested in seeing how that will turn out, because I've seen some concept art for Highgarden and how some people think it should look like, and it looks pretty massive. And I think it's going to be, I don't know, maybe like the size of Lannisport, something like that. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I just think that that's something that might be in the future of this Westeroscraft server. It'll be a huge project. Maybe they'll do that after King's Landing. Who knows? But this is something I particularly want to point out to you guys, is this little sort of drainage, like a stream, and it goes right along the river here, or the road here, I'm sorry. And I really like this. Like, I love these little, like, makeshift bridges that go across the stream, and it's kind of like a drainage stream, like where the drainage for all the water would go and such. I really think that's a really cool idea. But yeah, as you come down the road here, there's lots of there's orchards here to the right, lots of apples, because I imagine apples are a premium resource here, and since that the monastery up there has like an apple churning sort of thing, where they make apple cider, maybe they make some kind of mead, or I forget what the type of alcohol they make out of apples, but I'm pretty sure they can. Like, they flavor it with apples. They don't ferment with apples. Actually, do they? I don't know. You guys will have to tell me in the comments below. But yes, there's lots of cool things here. Looks like we got some, I don't know what these are. Maybe these are peas growing. are, I don't know, maybe they're wheat, but in their early stages. Now, this is definitely wheat. We definitely know what wheat looks like. There are some harvested fields, like see that strip there? I love these fields. Just check this out, guys. If we'll go ahead and fly up and we'll look at this. But yeah, check these fields out. That is fantastic. That is absolutely beautiful. You got all these little paths to walk through to access all the different fields and such. And I just think that's so cool. That is really, really cool. Let's go ahead and set this time to a good time. We'll send it to 1200 because that gives us the most light. But yeah, then again, we have these apple orchards all around, these massive apple orchards. As you can see, all of that is an apple orchard. So that's something that maybe will inspire you guys. But then again, I don't even know what all this stuff is over here. Like, what is this? Is this wheat? I don't know. I need to brush up on what these plants are on this server. But yeah, that's really cool. But anyway, New Barrel was founded by Raymond. Founded the house before a trial by 7 at the tourney at Ashford Meadow to differentiate himself from his cousin Stefan, who was fighting for the other side. Now, I don't know what the other side was, but obviously there was a little battle going on, and so I guess they were maybe battling over this land or something. And then he painted the apple on his shield in green, playing at Stefan's oft-repeated jape, and he was still green. He stated that he preferred to be green than rotten. Okay, so I'm guessing this is more book lore, so some of you that are listening that have read the books will understand what's going on. But apparently there was a family feud, and they were trying to fight over, what, or something. They were fighting over something. So anyway, some notable members of this, of New Barrel are obviously the Fossoways, because that is the name of the house. There is the founder of the house is Sir Raymond Fossoway, and then there's Sir Derek Fossoway, who is the Bad Apple, who was a member of the infamous Band of Nine. Now, most of you will probably know what that is. I have no clue what it is, but some of you probably do. This is a vineyard. That's really cool. I like that. I wish they had grape leaves. Maybe they're not in full season yet. That's probably why that they don't have grapes on them. I think they do have grape leaves. And the current lord is Sir John Fossoway. So, but yeah, we're coming through a village here. Or maybe it's a town. Yeah, it looks like a small town. Or it doesn't look, I don't know. Would you guys consider this a town? To me, in Minecraft terms, this looks like a town. But I guess it could be considered a village, because it isn't huge. It's not just like, there's, I forget what what occupants are needed for a town. This might constitute a city. But it has a little fort over here that I think is really cool. That's really interesting. But yes, the Fossoways pledge allegiance to the city of Highgarden, the Lord of Highgarden. And they pledge allegiance to that. So that's pretty cool. And they fight for them in the War of Five Kings and all their later conflicts. So that's actually a cool thing, is, when a king says, call the banners, New Barrel is a banner. And, New Barrel could probably, provide, who knows, 1,000 troops, 800 to 1,000 troops maybe, to a war effort. And, each banner is very important to the king of the land. If they want to go to war and they need lots of soldiers, they will call the banners. They will, say, all right, New Barrel, muster your troops, bring them to this spot, and then we're going to go fight whoever we're going to go fight. So, but yeah, anyway, that's pretty cool. I just love the idea of this sort of, the system, the feudal system here. Where you have all these different levels and tiers of people that keep going down the order. But yeah, I really like this little fort here. I think this might have actually been the old fort of New Barrel. So this might have been where the old, where they might have, controlled the land from before the actual New Barrel castle was built. So, that is interesting. That might be why this is here. But yeah, there's lots of neat things around here. You got a little little garden inside, a chicken coop. Really neat chicken coop design. I always love looking at the designs on the server, seeing all that they have, and I love their blocks. I'm so jealous. I just wish that Conquest had these blocks, not these blocks, but the ability to just not have metadata and biomes, but just have an inventory full of blocks. That would be so cool. Now, one thing about this, the floor is flat. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not, but it bothers me. But it's flat underneath. But still, you got like a little guard tower up here where they can look over the river, because I imagine that maybe that one time the other side of the river they were at war with, and maybe they had to build the fort here in order to protect this region. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, really nice little walls going around. Let's go ahead and just get a little view around the fort. We got like a little jut out there. I love that little thing, little docks around. As you can see, it's less defensible now, and it's more sort of just like a hold for maybe a marshal to overlook this village here and to keep it in check, to make sure that they stay loyal and enforce the law. So kind of like a sheriff of a town. They kind of they walk around with their sword or their modern day their pistol and make sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to do. So let's go to the front of this church actually. I love all these little markets. That's really cool. And we go inside. Oh wow, I did not expect this. This looks like a church building. This looks like a church, but it's a market building. Weird. Okay, so this looks like it's supposed to be a sept. There has to be a reason for that. Like, at one time, this has to have been a church. It looks so much like a church. Okay, I'm really curious now. I really want to know why this building is a marketplace. It really looks like a church, but maybe that's just why they built it like that, is just to throw people like me off. I love all the little greenery out behind the houses. It just feels so fulfilled. Like each house has everything it would need in order to survive. So like we'll just go into this house. We have a little fireplace. That's very important. You got like sacks of food, the rafters, and let's go up here. You got some beds and little mats, some more sacks of storage and flour and such. A little table to eat at. You got a nice big knife to cut up the meat, and we go out back. We got some clothes drying, a little garden to support the family. Another one over here. I love this this wicker block. That is just awesome. Love it to bits. Some firewood. Each house is like that. Like we'll come over to here, same thing. Then this one has grapes and. Then they have water, like a little wash basin to wash the clothes. That's what I really want you guys to take away from this, is each and every house has its own resources, its own way of providing for their family. Now, when you're in a city environment, obviously, you don't have all this extra room to grow, food and everything. But, that's just something you should keep in mind, is that each house has to have a family or something. But anyway, I'll be right back. Alright, so I turned the weather off really fast, and so we'll keep moving down along the path here. So this is Ambrose. I imagine this is the town of Ambrose? Ambrose. Maybe this is like some sort of statue or I don't know, a figurehead. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities. And there's lots of vineyards down along this way. It looks like this might actually be a wine house or a winery up here. Let's go check this out, see what it is. I really think this is a winery. It might not be, actually. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we have lots of barrels of looks like wine that they're making. I'm looking for something that they would churn the grapes in order to make it into wine. But it's surrounded in vineyards, so it only makes sense that this is a winery. Got a little watchtower over there up the road. If we go straight up this road, it'll take us right back to the castle of newbarrel. It's a ring fort. It's a stone keep ring fort. So I look forward to showing you guys that. Actually, you've seen in the cinematic already, but still, we'll be getting there soon, and we'll get there at the end because that is the most exciting part, I think. But yeah, again, if you guys want to come check this out for yourself, go ahead and click the links down below in the description. It'll send you to the Westeroscraft website. download their launcher, and then you will be able to head over here and do /warp newbarrel. Newbarrel, Newbarrel. It'll be in the you'll see it, and go ahead and warp here and check it out because there is so much to see. What we're going to be doing is walking all the way down along here, and we're going to go ahead and walk all the way up to Newbarrel. I'm going to go ahead and time lapse this journey, and I will see you guys soon. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a walkthrough. There was just so much to see. There's no way I could put it all into one little walkthrough, so I had to go ahead and speed it up a little so you guys could see everything that I could show you and see all the awesome stuff. But we are right now coming up onto the castle of Newbarrel. I'm not sure, is this considered a castle or a fort? We'll see soon enough. I'm pretty sure it's a castle. It looks like a castle, a stone keep castle with a ring fort keep. That's how I know it right now. But maybe some of you have a better way of announcing this or describing it. But we're going to try to find our way around to the gate, which is on the other, basically the direct other corner. There's other smaller gates around, and some things I want to point out. So here's one gate here. There's gates all along this the ring wall, but we're not going to go in this gate. But as you can see, here's one gate right here. It's on the corner, so it's not exactly very defensible in my opinion. It would be pretty, like if I were going to attack this castle, it seems like I would try to attack that one. Reason being is that, you know, there's very few places where the defenders can shoot down on the enemy if they're really coming from that direction. You know, it's on a corner. But there's another small gate up here on this side that I really like, but this isn't the main gate. The main gate is still all the way around. But this one here is really cool. I really like the design of this. We'll see more of it on the inside, but let's just check the outside. As you can see, we got a drawbridge here. Not very effective drawbridge. I mean, it's not really covering much, but it is just enough to you know, to give you that feeling that, hey, there's a drawbridge here, and it'd be kind of difficult to attack. But yeah, as you can see, you have like a little place where you can shoot down on the enemies on this little outcropping here that I really like that. I love that part of the castle right there. It's really cool. And then we have like this little tower here, but we're going to keep walking around. Looks like we have another little like monument here, like a marker to, sort of mark something. Not sure why that's there, but it's really cool. I like it. That's like a really neat little detail. So we're going to continue our way around. We'll kind of see what New Barrel looks like from the outside and see what we can see. So as you guys know, the current lord of this castle is Sir John Fossoway. Lord Sir John Fossoway. Not sure if any of you know that name, but I'm sure it is announced or, I'm sure it's said in the book somewhere, so some of you are probably aware of that. So, but yeah, there's still more, like, believe it or not, even the hamlets that I've shown you so far, there is still more. There is still more to New Barrel. And like I said, New Barrel is huge. It's basically a breadbasket lord, a breadbasket hold, because they have so many fields and apples and orchards and stuff. There's so much stuff. It's crazy. Let me go ahead and do P weather clear again, because that bugs out sometimes and it causes it to rain. So anyway, here we go. This is the main gate of New Barrel. This is where the majority of the main traffic would come through, I imagine. Obviously they have the other gates for lesser traffic and for small things, but there's a lot of things that I want to point out in this castle. So first of all, we have an archery range here, a place where people can practice their bow skills. And the really cool thing about behind this is that it has like this hanging leather, so that when if you miss the target, it would just kind of bounce off the leather instead of break against the stone, because that would not be good, because you don't want your arrows to break, because arrows, believe it or not, are very, each one probably takes, if you have the resources on you, probably about 5 minutes to make, and that's just one arrow. And yeah, so you got to keep that in mind. Maybe more than that. Who knows? Arrows probably take a long time because you got to get all the different stuff. But anyway, there's lots of... Okay, whatever. So here we have these little inlays. I forget what these are called. Oh, man. I mean, they're arrow slits, yes. But the way that they're placed, I just love it. Look at this. Like, it's like little inlays in the wall where archers can come up along the wall and shoot out on the road, because I imagine the road would be a main place where the enemies would be from. And then also they can come up here to the top of the wall and shoot down from these, the crenellations from up top. And it's like a really neat look. As you can see, there's lots of arrow slits all around, so it's really cool. So this here is a kill box. This is where, so if the enemy were to attack, like I said before, I don't think that they would attack through here. It wouldn't really make sense, because this is like a hard gate to get, and while there's like an easy gate down in the other corner. So here we have a smithy, a place where they can make swords and shields and stuff like that. Who knows? Horseshoes, nails, lots of different things you can do with that. Got some stables in here in order to store the horses. I'm guessing these are kennels. Yeah, these look like kennels in here. So we have kennels there, and we have horses here. So not many people on Raven, Conquest at least, think that, think of kennels. Kennels were a pretty important thing because the lords like to hunt, and also, dogs are pretty cool because they are pretty good at guarding. They bark when, someone's coming up, so don't get surprised. So this is something particularly that I want to show you. This here is like a granary. This is where all of the food and storage would be, or not all, but a lot. They would store up in here. As you can see, it's raised from the ground. That's a very important thing, is you do not want food on the ground. Sometimes it's okay. If you have to, some places. But when you're storing the food long term, it's best to keep it above ground so that rats and other, crawly creatures that like to eat your food don't get to your food. So this here is the actual granary. This is where all the grain is stored. I'm not sure how they get it in. There has to be like I guess what they would do is there'd be someone inside, and they would hand them sacks of flour, and then they'd pour it in places that need more flour. And then this is where the flour would come out. They would bring up a barrel or a bucket of whatever, and then they'd pour the flour or the grain into the bucket, and then that's how they would, get their food. Same thing with this one, another granary. Really cool. I love that a lot. We'll come up here, see what's in here. It looks like a little barrack tower, a little place where the guards can congregate and do their thing. There's a little room up here. What is this room? Okay, a little storage room. Very cool. All right, so we're going to head back down to the wall. I want to see what's in this tower. I don't think I have explored this tower yet. We're heading back to the gatehouse that has the drawbridge. So what is in here? It looks like we have an office, a little place for maybe the captain of arms to be. A little place for a couple guards there, maybe. There's no real reason to explore much more in here. Yeah, it looks like we have arrow slits that aren't usable. Okay, here's one that's usable, and this one's usable. So there's more guards' quarters up there. And then this here is the gatehouse, or a gatehouse. So this is where, typically, another thing that some people tend to forget is that gates were actually where the majority of the guards, or not the majority, but some guards of the castle would live. And as you can see, we have maybe mats here where they can live, who knows. But this gatehouse looks like it's too small for guards to live. Looks like they have like a little place for them to eat and everything over here. But yeah, that is really cool. So let's see what this building is. I'm not quite sure what this is. It looks sort of religious, maybe a priest's house. I'm not sure. I feel like this has like a religious feel to it. So I just imagine, it looks like sort of a richer bed, seeing the cloth over it. I'm guessing that this is where a couple of the priests for the lord of the castle are. Priests are pretty important. There's some more up here. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is the guest house. I don't know. There's a helmet up here. So maybe this is actually for like the higher class guards, like guards that are of particular note to the lord, guards that have proven themselves, soldiers, etc. So now we're actually going to head up to the ring fort. After one more thing, I just want to quickly go over here and see this build over here. And let's just go ahead and get a quick look around the ring fort while we're flying in the air. As you can see, that's where the granaries and all that storage stuff is. We have a bell there to the left as well. We got a bunch of little towers. That's where the kill box is. We got some corner towers and everything, all kinds of cool things going around. But yeah, I really love this build. This is an absolutely beautiful build. Like I said, it's not as epic as some of the castles you'll see here on Westeroscraft. However, the surrounding details and just the sheer strength of this is just incredible. So this here is the dining hall, and I'm glad we did not forget to show this, but this here is giant. I love this. This is awesome. This is where I guess the Lord would be up here, and he would. Looks like he doesn't have any family with him. Maybe it's just him, but he would. Maybe some audiences would be, taken in here. Say, some people want to come in and talk to the Lord. There's lots of room for extra seats in here, so looks like we have a table up against the wall. Maybe a bench right here that's up against the wall as well. That's a really cool idea. And maybe these are a couple tables that are up against the wall too there. So we come around here. This looks like where the Lord would actually live. The ring fort is where they would all go, sort of like a fortress. That's where they would go in the event of an attack. If the outer wall is breached, that is where they would go because they need sort of like a final ground to hold the line. So this looks like where the Lord Fossoway would sleep. Very nice bed, very comfy it looks, and it looks like he has just a big open window here. I wonder if the climate gets cold here or not. But I wonder, you know, it's just, I don't know. But very cool. So we're going to keep going down and see what else there is to see. Looks like we have an audience chamber in here. Maybe not an audience chamber. Maybe just like a meeting room where, I don't know. I don't know what would happen in here. We have 2 fireplaces, though. Something significant about this room. There is something significant about this room. But what is it? Looks like it's just like a meeting room. Maybe a place where they can dance. A ballroom, possibly? That actually might be what this is. This is a place where they can dance and maybe a couple musicians on the side. Here we have a little garden for, I guess, the personal food for the Lord. Because it would be nice to have some food. Fresh food just for the Lord himself. Looks like we have a pigsty in here because the pigs were very tasty morsels, very easy to grow, and they would love to have swine for dinner. And then as you can see in here, we got some chicken being over the fire, and this is the kitchen to this castle. Very nice, very direct route to the Great Hall. So let's go ahead and head up to the ring fort now, the actual Newbarrel Keep. We're not going to explore it too much. We're just going to go ahead and run up here real fast, and we're going to go ahead and end the video. That's the sept down there, by the way. If you want to come check out the rest of Newbarrel, you'll have to come and do /warp Newbarrel and check it out for yourself. So here we're walking into the ring fort now. We have the portcullis here, and now we're in the courtyard of the ring fort, and pretty neat. I like this in here a lot. And then we go in here. This is the main audience chamber, it would seem. You know, if he wanted to show his might, he would have his audience up here in this castle, or in the ring fort up here. But it's really cool. I love this fort. Really nice. I love the stage it's set on. Like, it's set on a little hill surrounded by walls, and it's really, really cool. So anyways, I think that's all we have time for today. I know it's been a long video, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me through the whole video. There is still a lot more to see, so if you guys want to see it, go ahead and do /warp Newbarrel on the Westeroscraft server. You can go ahead and download the launcher in the link down below. That'll lead you to wherever you need to go, and you can research and figure out how to do it yourself. So anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget that I have a Facebook and a Twitter you guys can stay connected with me on. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next Westeroscraft walk. Remember, these are supposed to be bi-weekly, but I can't promise that. Depends on what's going on with my video schedule and my in real life schedule, because sometimes there's clash. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I look forward to the next one. Have a great day, and bye-bye.